A report has come out that indicates Otto Porter Jr. will be returning tonight. So we'll break that down in this video, as well as Thaddeus Young. Some speculation that he might be back in the Raptors rotation following a post he made to Instagram, as well as a little deep dive into how the Steve Nash firing from the Brooklyn Nets can impact the Toronto Raptors. So a bunch of stuff to break down. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here at the Raptors side, just breaking down the latest Toronto Raptors news. And folks, you guys have been killing it. Hit that sub button. Our next goal is 27,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to stay up to date on everything surrounding the Toronto Raptors, you've been watching the vids, definitely subscribe. It helps us out big time. But let's dive into the news. And the first thing we're discussing is Otto Porter Jr.'s likely return to action tonight for the Toronto Raptors. Now, Otto's a guy that's been well anticipated for him to make his debut for Toronto, and by all indications, it looks like it's going to happen tonight. Eric Kareem came out and said that Otto Porter Jr., who missed the start of the season with a hamstring injury and was away from the team due to a birth of his child, is now probable for tonight's game against the San Antonio Spurs. It'd be his Raptors debut, and Fred VanVleet remains questionable for tonight's game. Now, we made a video yesterday. A couple people flamed me for being excited about Otto Porter Jr. being questionable, but that's usually how it goes, especially with when a guy's been out for a significant amount of time. They have your indefinite timeline, and then you have your doubtful expectations for guys to return, then questionable, and now it's been upgraded to probable. And due to the fact that we now know why he was out due to personal reasons, as Nick Nurse indicated the other day, right? It seems like Otto Porter Jr. is going to be back tonight. And I wasn't sure. People actually corrected me in the comment section. I didn't see the reports that Otto Porter Jr. was having a kid when I made the video yesterday. So Eric Kareem, along with people in the comment section, let us know about that now so we can react to it today. But congratulations to Otto Porter Jr. I'm happy that the personal reasons that he was away from the team was something positive, right? Like having a kid rather than literally anything else. Some people were speculating that he might have been disgruntled with the Toronto Raptors, even though he never suited up for the team or anything like that. That was a popular rumor going around Reddit and Twitter, saying he's a guy that can come in and leave as he wants. People are just going on with nonsense on that front. Otto Porter Jr. is a veteran, just won a championship. By all accounts, seems to be a true professional across the league. So, that was some crazy stuff. I'm happy Otto Porter Jr.'s personal reasons was something positive, and he's going to be back in the Raptors rotation. Probably also got an extra few days to let that hamstring recover, so he's not pushing it back too early. So I'm excited to see what he does with this Raptors squad. Obviously, Fred VanVleet is still questionable for tonight's game. Wouldn't mind him to really take the days off that he needs so he can come back into full all-star form, but having Otto Porter Jr. off the bench could really just help us have a little bit of a balance. Help us, not go through these wicked highs and lows, right? When we throw that bench unit in, have a guy that's just reliable, knocks down threes, plays some defense, and is on the lead. We speculated on what Otto Porter Jr. can bring to the team for a bunch of videos already starting off the season, but now we'll actually get to see it. So Raptors fans, get excited to see what this guy can bring to the table. But the next thing we're discussing is another guy off the bench that could be back in the rotation, and that is none other than Thaddeus Young. And I broke it down in the last post-game reaction because he was the only guy in that win against the Atlanta Hawks that got 0 minutes, and he was a dude that was really effective for this Raptors team last season. Doesn't put up ridiculous numbers in the box score, but just goes in there, plays his role, plays strong defense, is one of the biggest hustlers on the Toronto Raptors right now in terms of going for loose balls, getting those 50-50 chances, and it's just a veteran. He's a solid passer. He can shoot the three, can shoot the midi, just does everything solid. And just like I've talked about with Otto Porter Jr., having guys off your bench that you can just rely upon to not be utter garbage out there. Obviously, we have guys on the bench that can be really good, but sometimes just are not that great. They're unpredictable in their performance. Thaddeus Young, you know what you're going to get out of him. You're going to get some great facilitating, some veteran leadership, all that sort of stuff. And he made an Instagram post today that indicated that he might be back in the rotation for the Toronto Raptors. And this is it here. Just post a picture of him in a Raptors jersey saying, "See y'all tonight," with a little fire emoji. And people have been reacting, essentially saying, oh, was he potentially injured? Why wasn't he getting minutes? And after a game where it's been widely talked about Thaddeus Young's minutes being brought up because he didn't play a single second in that game against the Atlanta Hawks, some people are projecting, oh, maybe Thaddeus Young is going to be back getting minutes on this Raptors squad. And honestly, I'm all here for it, especially where our starters have been just getting high 30s, low 40s minutes game after game after game. We need more players off the bench that can come in and have an impact, especially if Fred VanVleet out or questionable for tonight's game as well. We do have Chris Boucher, Precious Achiuwa, Christian Koloko, who are reliable guys. Otto Porter Jr. is going to be coming back. I'm not sure if he's going to be eased back into the rotation, but having another guy in Thaddeus Young that can just take away minutes, especially from Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, especially if he's going to be playing more point guard tonight, right? Just to come in there, give these guys a breather, give these guys a blow. That's exactly what we want out of Thaddeus Young. He's an insurance dude. There's also a little bit of speculation that we were resting Thad because we might have had a trade on cue, on deck. That got a lot of upvotes or whatever they're called on Reddit. So I think, Nick Nurse, however he's managing the team, probably gave Thaddeus Young an indication that, you're going to be in the lineup tonight, at least given that Instagram post. This might be a crazy reach as well. We'll see how the game actually plays out. But I want to see Thad in the rotation. A lot of Raptors fans do. So hopefully it does end up playing out in that direction. But the next thing we're discussing is the Toronto Raptors climbing up the NBA power rankings. Now, the Raptors have been great. With the exception of that Philadelphia 76ers game, they've had a tremendous start to the season. A couple losses have been close games that were neck and neck against great teams. We've had the toughest strength of schedule to start off the year, and while we're playing a team that was projected to be a tanking squad coming into the season, the San Antonio Spurs have quietly been really good in the Western Conference, so it should be another battle tonight. But the Raptors have made their way up the power rankings, currently ranked at 8th, just ahead of the Denver Nuggets. They're saying that Pascal Siakam has played as well as anyone this season, averaging 26, 10, and 7.4 assists, all of which have been career highs. Siakam has helped Toronto go 4-3 through a brutal opening stretch full of playoff contenders. And there's no other better way to put it. The Raptors deserve to be moving up those power rankings, even with that ugly loss to Philadelphia, because we're getting wins against some of the best teams in the NBA, and we squashed the Atlanta Hawks, who have some serious playoff aspirations after bringing in DeJounte Murray this offseason. So great things happening for the Toronto Raptors, but the final thing we're discussing is how Steve Nash's firing impacts the Toronto Raptors. Now, I'm not doing a full deep dive into the whole situation down there in Brooklyn. If you guys want a video update on the Steve Nash firing, go over to Courtside Die. I just made a video on that yesterday. But Steve Nash obviously is a Canadian. Some people are speculating, maybe the Raptors should bring him on as assistant coach. That's never going to happen. That's not how this could potentially impact the team. But keep playing. I like this animation, so I'll play it as much as I can. The talks about Kevin Durant potentially leaving the Brooklyn Nets have been juiced up even higher now after this firing of Steve Nash. Apparently he was shocked by the firing, even though I doubt it. I think Kevin Durant's a guy that asked for Steve Nash to be fired this offseason. He was definitely playing a part in him getting fired, even if it's not a big reason why, right? They're not doing anything without his at least knowledge of it. But the Brooklyn Nets came out and ended up getting slapped, or had a brutal loss. Not slapped, but they were up big. It looked like they had the motivation, after Nash gets fired, that post-firing boost, and then the fourth quarter just absolutely collapsed. Kyrie Irving had a really bad game, and the Nets continue to lose. They're continuing to struggle. They're continuing to rack up these L's. So, if the Nets continue to lose, they brought in Ime Udoka as their new head coach, who has a lot of baggage himself. Obviously, all the anti-Semitic quotes going around with Kyrie, or videos he's posting with Kyrie Irving. That's been a horrible look for the Brooklyn Nets. Ben Simmons currently injured. Reports coming out saying that he's not happy, or looks less enthusiastic about playing basketball than he ever has in his career right now. He's really happy when he gets taken out of games. Everything's getting read into with the Brooklyn Nets at this point, and by all indications, Kyrie Irving will not be back with the team next season. The Nets could be on a downward spiral, and people are saying, could the Raptors swing in and maybe even get KD for a less than asking, or the asking price for Kevin Durant was ridiculous this offseason, for a below market price. Right now, if KD does go on the market, I'm sure the Nets will try to whip up a bidding war once again, but the Raptors, we have the assets to make a deal, and I'm seeing a lot of Raptors fans talk and discuss about whether or not they'd even give up an OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr. in a Kevin Durant trade. People want to see how this Raptors teams look. We're currently young. We have a young core group. Obviously, if you don't have to give up a bunch of draft picks, it probably is a no-brainer to trade Gary Trent and OG Anunoby, just given their whole contract situations in their own right? Like, you probably do it, especially where there's years left on Kevin Durant's deal. You always want to trade even though Gary Trent Jr. or OG Anunoby are not like 25-cent pieces, your 50-cent pieces, your 75-cent pieces for $1. So that's usually how it goes in the NBA. You probably do that deal. But if the Raptors could sweep in and the Nets continue to struggle, it's something to be on the lookout for, because this could be, obviously, everything in the offseason was a bunch of dominoes that fell. Steve Nash getting fired is a big one as well. So if Ime Udoka coming in, doesn't work out there for the Brooklyn Nets, we'll see what ends up happening. But keep an eye on Brooklyn, because the Raptors were in a lot of rumored trade discussions this offseason. But folks, you guys are the best for making this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.